Steve and me coming to you again, another Bullseye Guy podcast. These are always fun and amazing, and sometimes they're extraordinary. Not because of me, because of the people I'm fortunate to get to meet, interview, and spend time with. And today, Bernard, I've known you probably at least a decade, watched you through the years. You've been amazing, but now you're number one. You were number one before, but now you have number one on a book, number one acting coach in the world, programs, amazing stuff. Fortunate to have you. Bernard, thank you so much. For those who don't know you, I do obviously. Give us a great little introduction on yourself, not with the book. We're going to move up to the book. Give us a little bit on Bernard, background, history, and arc.
Well, I was born when I was very young. That part I don't remember, but I've been in the industry, the entertainment industry, for about 40 years, starting on Broadway, musicals, shows, and then I developed a new way to become an artist. And then I started working with CEOs where I teach them how to be dynamic public speakers, because the moment you stand up, you're in my business. And so I have been using transformational exercises to have you discover things in yourself that you've never known before. And I go around the world and I coach, I have master classes, and I meet great people like you. So let me just back up a little bit that you said something, and that is, in life, you don't meet who you want to meet, you meet who you are. So if you're coming to me, it's because you and I are both the same. That's why. That's where we tracked each other.
Yeah. And I've tracked you for a while, but again, it's interesting when you talk about timing and propinquity and messaging. Just because you know somebody doesn't mean the timing may be right for you or somebody else. And right. let's go back and move forward, because some of it, if we talk about the CEO side, we'll move into the acting, which you've got an amazing book out. This concept of transformational, becoming a better person, becoming a better speaker, a presenter. Talk a lot about that, because people don't understand, and you and I were talking before, we're all playing roles in our lives. How do we play that role? How do we communicate? It's important.
Well, there's a guy named Shakespeare who said that all the world is a stage and all the men and women are merely players. What that means, everybody in the world is playing a part. That's all we do. Well, you're playing a part right now. You're a host. I'm playing a part as well. And there are parts like fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and waiters and CEOs and presidents. They're all roles. What I do is I help create a person that is that's going to be so successful, a certain type of role, by teaching them how to play that role through my acting exercises. Because to be successful, how would a successful person deal with a failure? They would deal with it differently. How would not a successful person deal with a failure? It's all about playing roles. That's all we do in life. And we design a character that you can't wait to play, because right now you're a businessman. That's a role, a partner, a CEO, a father, a brother, a son. And the idea is that whenever we're upset with anyone, it's because they didn't play the role we wanted them to. And that has to do with acting, because we couldn't live without acting. And acting isn't being fake. Acting is learning how to play different roles in one's life, and that's what I specialize.
Yeah, and there's so many tacks I can go with you. I have to be careful because I want to go down these different lanes. Let's talk initially about the transformational side, because I do a program, a 10-step program, and step one is design your destiny, meaning I don't think people really know what they want to be. And so if you're working with a CEO, that transformational side, are you trying to help them just get better, or do you help them define what they think they want to be?
So let's go back. Forget about what I teach. Forget about that. The most important thing is, what are you willing to do? But that's all based on how much you love yourself. The more you love yourself, the more you want to do for yourself. Well, let's start with number one. If you don't love yourself, we got a big problem already. Yeah. The idea is that I don't believe that people need more information. They need transformation. And when people come and work with me, we have transformational exercises. They are very powerful, and they're going to change you if you want to change. You will be as great as you want to, but there is something about transformation and being more powerful or being more, successful, because then you'll be seen more. A lot of people don't want to be seen. They don't want to be heard. There's a lot of issues with that too. A lot of people are afraid of success. A lot of people I have some people who have vocal blocks who've been told, I can tell by the way people speak, you were told as a kid to shut up. There's all kinds of blocks and different things that are stopping you. But if you have a passion, if you're emotional, you can overcome anything at all. And with the exercises that I've created, that I've been doing for the last 30 years with artists, great artists, famous artists, and business people, they become the person they want to be, because you're never able to. Look, here's how it works. If you want to achieve what you've never achieved, you have to become the person that you have never been. And that is the opposite of you. Not a little bit more positive. It's a transformation. It's like a caterpillar to a butterfly. And you know what? It's hard to find those people. I think that, people know about being happy. I mean, what am I bringing something brand new? People know about to be more powerful, they know about it. It's the fact that, are you ready to have the courage to become that? And that's what I help them become, that if they want that. We don't force anyone, because the ones who really want it are ready to do what it takes, because I feel like I'm more of a mentor, because I can take you to a place within yourself that you could never go by yourself. And that's a very important thing. You can never become great working on yourself. Forget that sentence, working on myself. That's impossible.
I love this, Bernard, because again, I've read books from the masters and I distill things out. And what you just said is one of the tenets I've distilled out of people. I call it the be, do, have. What do you want to have? Oh, I want to have all these things. Well, what are you willing to do? Oh, I'm willing to do this. Okay, well, what are you willing to become? You have to be the type of person who's willing to do the things to have what others want. Most people
don't focus. You're right. Don't focus on what you want. Focus on what kind of a person do you need to become to get what you want. And that's where the problem is.
Yep.
Yes, it's all about that. Because what I do as an actor is that, let's say this actor is doing positive things or negative things in the movie. So what I do is help them become having the mindset, the body to be able to do those things. You understand that we work backwards. When you meet someone, let's see a great movie like Robert De Niro, when he's playing the boxing movie, So somebody hits him. So he has to learn that he hits him back because he's a boxer. We have to go get his mind, his thought, his idea. But he's willing to go everywhere because it takes courage and vulnerability. That's one of the things that people are afraid of, being vulnerable. Being emotional. You have to realize that success is something you could have if you really want it. If you really want it. And I have found that some people just don't seem to really want it. They want it everybody wants to be rich, but nobody wants to work. I mean, everybody, I would like to have a great body. A great body. I just don't like working out. That's the only thing. If I don't work out, I would love to have one of those guys with the muscles. And then I realize it's always about that. And because I teach acting, I have people that come in quiet, shy, this, that. And I go, okay, if your dream is, number one, emotional, if your dream is bigger than yourself, then you have to realize that you would need to you have to become someone else. But that's all within you. Whatever is within you is within me. I could be shy. I could be open. I could be you. It's the fact that you need the right coach and the right training to become that person. That's the most important thing.
I love that. I call it the be, do, have. And that be is what people don't understand, So let's talk about this, because at some point I really want to get into what you've done and the track and then the book, obviously. But I love learning this stuff, as you can tell. Like I take it in. When somebody comes to you and they say, I want to be this, or I want to do this, or you're introduced to somebody, what do you look for? What are the characteristics where you can see through their discussion or their emotion? What what do you look for as a key indicator for you to decide who you may want to work with?
I look for passion, because passion I cannot give you.
Yeah.
I look for someone who's hungry to learn, because I don't want to waste the time and energy, and I don't want you to waste any money. It's like I'm always trying to figure out, are you going to be Muhammad Ali? It's something that they're born with. They just want to be great. I have had people, I remember when I started to train Cameron Diaz, I was her first coach. When she walked in the door, she was saying, what do I need to do? Tell me what I need to do. She was hungry to learn. And then she got her first movie, The Mask, with Jim Carrey. The idea is that people who are successful have hunger because they want to live a better life. Because people know about better lives. It's just that they're either not finding the right coach, or they're just not motivated. You know, there's no such thing as procrastination. Forget that. That does not exist. It's somebody who's not doing what they love. Because when you love something, you've got all the energy you need.
That's what I was going to, again, I was going to ask you the questions that, because you're the expert, you already do. But I'll ask for the audience, I'll ask the clarity. I was going to ask, how do you see between the person who claims they're hungry for vanity versus the person who claims they're hungry for passion? Passionate and emotion is different than vanity.
Right. Now, here's a kind of a thing that I do. I meet with them, and then I say, here's what you have to do. If they don't do that, then the game's up. Then thank you very much. We don't meet again. It's like, you have to show me. It's called, because we live in a business. You and I live in a business called show business. We're all in show business. When someone comes to work with you, they want you to show them what you do. They want you to show you the results. They want to see how much money you've made. It's show business. When you get a great meal, you're looking at the food to show. It's about showing. And so when I ask people to do this and this, and I explain this thing, and they get it, and they say, okay. And if they, a week or two, and if they don't do it, I realize, okay, they're just not interested. I see not but what people say. It's not what people think. It's only by actions. That's why in movies we yell, and action. We don't yell and talk. So I see by their actions, because I always feel that if you're not going to do what I just told you now, you're not going to do the thing I told you after that. And my ego's out of control. I know, because you know what? I have a feeling that when I work with somebody, I want them to succeed, because it means so much to me. It's not like I'm selling a program. I don't want to sell anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm giving to those that want to, because it satisfies me. It gives me a great.
You see more of your success in the success of others, and what you're able to help them achieve.
When they become successful, that makes me go like, oh, you did that? You did the letter A? Well, here's a letter B. Oh, you did B? Well, here's a C. Here's D. Now, if you didn't do A, then I realize, okay, then we talk and say how come and blah, blah, blah. But if after a while somebody doesn't do A, usually by the time they come to see me, they know that I'm like, listen, we're like the Marines, okay? We're going for it. You have to, because one of the things that has to happen is whenever you start doing something new, you have to face all your blocks and fears, all your insecurities. You have to face all that. And the reward for doing such a courageous thing is realizing that all of your blocks and fears were all illusions. They were never real.
Yeah.
I mean, what were you afraid of? It's the idea, but you have to realize that you have to, you're going to shine more. And if you could shine more, it really comes back to your childhood. Because what happens is that, here's a question I ask people: what did you have to do to be loved as a child? And if you had to play different roles, I think people have been acting all the time. My first book is called Stop Acting, Start Living. I think most people are acting, pretending to be what other people want them to be. I think that's the problem. I think that not only people are acting all the time, how they can never be themselves, because they feel that if they were themselves, they would not be loved. They would not be loved. They were only, a lot of people are loved only when they have good grades, or they win the championship, or the hero. But they realize that if they don't do that, they don't get attention. So they're always like trying to do that. They're trying to be perfect and trying to achieve things for someone else. And the day you can give up being somebody else and have the courage to be you, that's the day your career starts. So I have to teach them how to be authentic. Because authenticity is making your soul visible to the world. And you'll know you're authentic.
Yeah.
You know you're authentic when you're happy, powerful and feel connected and you live on purpose, that's when you're authentic. If you're not happy, you're not authentic.
Again, though, we have to spend more time together. And I know I can't get on your calendar, but it's that purpose. It's that definitive of purpose that people don't know how to define. They don't know what it is that gets them.
You know what? I disagree. I think people know what they want. They don't have the courage to go after it. Some people say, I don't know what I want. And I go, well, would you like to become a mechanic? They go, no. I said, well, then you obviously have some idea, because mechanic, which is what my father did, a wonderful profession. If you say no to something, that means you're saying yes to something. It's that people don't have the courage to say yes to that. It's like, it's a ballpark. You may not know exactly where, but let's go to the ballpark and then we find the right seating, but we can find it. It doesn't come to you like that. It's a journey. It's a journey. But people know what they want. They just don't have the courage to do that. That's the key.
I would agree. And where I was going with it is they need guidance. They need help. They need somebody like you or somebody else to help them say, here, let's help you get to what you're passionate about. Because
okay, now let me just jump on what you just said. All successful people ask for help. Average people never do. I mean, absolutely. And I know from DiCaprio to CEOs, you know who work calls me? The most successful people are calling me. I mean, they're like thinking, I'm here. Can you take me here? I'd like to go there. Yeah, because my mentor is a guy named Les Brown, who said, Les is one of my,
I'm wearing his cufflinks.
I love it. Les Brown and I, we've done
eyeglass cufflinks.
He's my mentor, and we've done seminars together. And he said, asking for help keeps you strong. Yeah. So let me give you an example. Your car breaks down. Are you going to go to the mechanic, or are you going to try to fix it yourself? Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Stephen?
Know your lane. I'm going to find the best mechanic I can and call him or get introduced to him.
Let's say you don't. Let's say you don't ask a mechanic. What's going to happen to that car? Nothing. The car's going to sit there and just rot away. So you have to understand that, of course, I know nothing about cars. I would get the mechanic immediately. Your tooth hurts. You'll fix it yourself. You have to realize that successful people ask for help. Average people never do.
Yeah. Incremental greatness. Always trying to get better.
Because you can only go on your own to a certain level. Yeah. Because you can never go past that. And I thank all my mentors who've taken me beyond what I think. And that's why I teach. I keep teaching what I keep having to remember, because I just want to get better. I'm trying to get better right now as I'm talking to you.
It's amazing. Les is great. Let's again, Bernard, let's go back to go forward. This journey of the career you're on now, did it start more with CEOs or business? How did you get into this I'll call it transformational coaching, unless you have a more clear description. No. How did you get started in it? What was your interest?
You know what? I have to say that everything that's happened to me has happened out of a journey that sort of opened up, opportunities opened up. I didn't really plan to be a teacher, because I thought that sounds boring. I mean, I didn't really want to be a coach. I didn't want to be anything. I just wanted to sing and dance. And what greatness what acting does is that I think that every person that's listening to you should take an acting class. Everybody. I don't care, because acting lets you discover who you are. Don't you want to know who you are? Get to overcome your blocks and fears. The way you get more confident is only doing things that scare you. So you sing, dance, act, stand-up comedy, just anything that scares you. That's how you gain confidence. You don't get confidence just by wishing more confidence. So what acting did for me, and what I've done now with my classes, is that you discover all kinds of things. That's why we have a lot of CEOs and business people that come, because you become powerful, and that makes you powerful. If you're a powerful person, you can become a powerful CEO. We're not doing tricks. I don't like when I do public speaking. I don't like some of the business people. I'm sure they're lovely people, but they always say, open up or say this. I go, wait a minute. Why don't I make you dynamic? You'll be a dynamic speaker. Why don't we just cut to the chase? Why don't I just make you dynamic as a human being? Yeah. Because I have found that if you're dynamic, positive, with lots of love within you, then that goes in any field. What, you don't need that? So what happened is that I was teaching acting. There was a guy that came to my acting class. He says, "Can you teach my people, because they have to. I think they have 20 minutes to sell $20 million worth of insurance or some, I forgot. Yeah. So I forgot what they were doing, but they were selling something." And then I said, okay. So I brought them in. So now their whole company started to change, because there were three people who had to come in and get people's companies stocks or something. I forgot the name right this second. But anyway, there was three people. They were bidding to get these big jobs. And I was telling them how to be successful, but not telling them. I was transferring them. You learn by doing. You don't just learn by talking. We can talk all day and I'm not going to lose weight. Okay. That's just not going to happen. You can talk all day. You're not going to get confident. We have to do it by action. So that started. Then that guy went to another company. So all of a sudden then I met the Swarovski company. So I was working with them. Mm-hmm. So they told another company. Then I was working in this company, and then this CEO. And I'm always doing different things. And it's really been word of mouth. I didn't really put it out there, though you can find all my information on my website, bernardhiller.com. But I just realized that people just come. And I love it. I also have now a group of other people that I've trained to be able to do that as well. So I find that it's been a journey. I'm on a journey that takes me who I need to work with. I feel like the person that I need to work with will just appear. And they've always been appearing. So there it is.
So when you started, Bernard, did you start with the acting?
Yes.
Coaching and classes? Oh, so you started in acting. I for some reason, I thought you had started the other side.
No, I started with acting. And one day, because I was doing shows, one actor came to me and says, "I have a big audition." That's when you try out for something. And they said, could you help me with this audition? And I thought, okay. So I helped him. He got the job. So he did something very bad. He brought me another student. So now I had 2 students. And I'm thinking, what's this? I said, no. So then all of a sudden before that, I had 30 students, and they said, "Can you do a class?" And I remember distinctly, I said, okay, I'll do a class for 6 weeks and that'll be it. I'll stop. So then they did 6 weeks with them, my 31st student. And they were like saying, "So what else you got?" And I thought, I really don't have anything else. And so then I created all these different ideas, because I always felt that acting wasn't taught correctly. I thought public speaking wasn't taught correctly. And I say, listen, this is what I think. I think we need to do this. And then it started to just go here. And then now I've been teaching in 26 different countries. I have master classes all over the world. For business master classes, as well as acting master classes. And I just have this wonderful life that I feel like it's an honor to meet you, because I feel that you will enhance. I like meeting people because I feel like I'm going to learn something from them.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so I have so many questions I want to ask you, and they get in my mind from a prior conversation you had. So I'm going to try and stay in this lane and then go backwards and keep moving forward.
All the lanes you want, I'm ready.
So when you're working with somebody, Bernard, when people come in, who did you look at when you first met them and you knew right away that person had greatness and you helped them achieve it? And who came in and you went, "Well, I'm not so sure," and they surprised you? So I'm curious who you said, "This person will make it if they work hard," and they did, and who surprised you?
You know what? I have a different answer for that. I think that every single person who's listening to me right now, I always talk about there's good news and bad news about talent. Every single person that's listening here has talent, some kind of talent for something. But having talent is not special. I like to work with those people who have the courage to see where their talent can take them. So you never know who's got it and who doesn't. I mean, when I meet them, I know that they got something. And I'm saying, okay, you want to go work? There have been people who come in open, friendly, and then 2 weeks, they're gone. Then I have some girls who are quiet and shy, and now they're killers. I mean, they're just artistic killers. They're business killers. And I like to work through passion, love, and positivity. That's how I work with them, because I always think that I'm not ripping you apart. I'm putting you together, because you are ripped apart. When people come in, they're like, there's different things that has injured them along the way. And I try to find the parts that go, no, First, you fall in love with yourself, okay? Let's start with love, because that's what everything is about anyway. Let's find with love. Let's find get you out of your head. Too many people are in their head and not in their heart. So it's all about working from your heart, working from your instincts. The idea is that you really having connection to your heart. And so I can't say, I judge by what I see. In other words, all of a sudden I could take you and you can be you're not George Clooney, but all of a sudden in 2 months, you're like a killer. Then you can take George Clooney and he's not doing that much because it's a process. There is no, they got it and someone doesn't have it. I think that everybody has it. And if the right coach, yes, and the right you can make magic together. So it's not just the coach, it's also the right you. Because if you're great, but you're not with the right coach, that's a problem. If I'm great and you're not great, I mean, you got to both meet each other at the same level of excitement of working on this.
And the role, it's interesting because the role of an actor for the creativity, that actor is going to have roles that vary. So they have to be much more open and honest to an expansion. The role as a CEO is more confined to an outcome. What do you find is the difference, or do you think they're the same?
Absolutely the same. I'm creating a CEO of the future. I'm creating a CEO with vision and confidence and leadership qualities. And that's a role you need to learn to play. And that's the same role. We're playing different roles in life as it is. And I'm saying these are all roles. And I have certain exercises and certain things that we do to be able to play those things. Because what's a CEO? Just hold down the fort? I don't want to work with the CEO of yesterday. I want to work with someone who is creative. What is the CEO that we're thinking of? Steve Jobs? I'm looking CEO like that. I'll take that. That's a job I want. If you want to be Steve Jobs, I'll work with you. If you want to be the other guy, then you don't need me. I'm talking about people who want to go beyond their goals and dreams. That's basically my whole thing. It's on my website. If you want to go beyond your goals and dreams, call me. If not, beautiful. Have a great life. I love you. Go. But I'm interested in that. I'm interested in something that seems like, wow, this is crazy. I go, if it's crazy, call me. And
Steve is probably the epitome of the creative entrepreneur and the presenter, the showmanship, the showman side of what he learned on stage, the creativity, was fantastic. Yeah.
Also, he's, I don't know if you remember computers. Have you heard about computers? He tried to sell that idea to IBM. Nobody wanted it. Most people would have gone home.
They didn't want the Next. They didn't want the Newton.
They didn't want anything. Yeah. That's usually how you know you got a great idea. You know you got a great idea when people think this is crazy. When you think things crazy, call me. Because usually when you I usually say, this is how I know you have a dream. You know you have a dream when other people think it's crazy. If nobody thinks it's crazy, you don't actually have a dream.
Yeah,
because people think like, oh, it can't be done. And here's my vision. I came to the United States. I didn't speak English. I didn't know anyone. I had this hunger that I just wanted to be great. And I was willing to go anywhere and do anything and study everywhere. But it gave me joy. And I did it for my family. I did it for all the people. It's a bigger than just one thing. And it gives me such joy to meet such great people. And that meeting someone like you gives me joy. I like it. I like people who are trying to make the world a better place because we're all teachers. And by the way, every single person listening is a teacher because you know what? They're watching you. They're watching you. And the question is, what are you teaching? That's all.
I'm laughing because when you interview the true professionals, you laugh because I said I wanted to segue backwards and you just segued forward to where I wanted to go backwards. And my backward segue was, what are you most passionate about? What motivates Bernard when somebody comes in? What's still driving you today from a passion, emotional motivation, change the world capacity?
Well, I think that when I meet someone who has this hunger to make the world, you see, happier people make the world a better place. And I feel like I'm working one person at a time. one person at a time, trying to make the world better by one person at a time. Because what excites me is a person that has a hunger and is using their positivity, their energy, their CEO-ness, the business skills for something good. I love that.
And again, you as the expert, you help me segue right into my next question. You helping somebody one-on-one, time is infinite. It's limited. You only have so much time. The best way to duplicate and scale yourself is to write a book.
Right.
So apparently you have the #1 book on Amazon. Talk to me about the book.
Well, the number one release on
category,
Amazon.
Probably.
Yes, in my category. Yes, I'm not beating whoever. Yes.
Words matter.
Yeah. It's called The Revolutionary Guide to Acting, and it teaches you, there are exercises in there. It teaches you how, business people and artists, all artists, really it's for creatives. It's really for anybody who has a creative idea, teaching them how to get out of the box. There's a section called The Benefit of Negativity, why people are negative, why, and how to get out of that if they want to. It's a new way of looking at things. It's definitely going to make your mind, you turn it upside down and go like, wow, that's interesting. So I feel like this book really has, it took me 2 years to write this. This is not something I did lightly. It took 2 years to write this book because I wanted people to understand that there's a way to greatness, not just be great. A lot of times it's like be great or be happy, but realize what's stopping you from being great. What's stopping you? I think that we need to always go backwards to go forward. It's not, I don't pick you up here because when I meet you, Stephen, I realize that you've had a life before that. And you know what? A lot of times when I'm speaking to somebody, I don't actually think I'm talking to them. I'm talking to their doubts. I'm talking to their fears. They're not actually even here. They're not here. I'm talking to their childhood issues. So so we got to go fix that so you could actually be here. If you were thinking of something else right now while I'm talking, then you're not here. And most people are not.
I'm thinking the term, I have terms for all this stuff. That's why I love talking to people like you, Bernard. My term for that is retrospective evolution. We have to look back in retrospect, see what's worked, see what our limitations are, and evolve to get better as we move forward.
Well, the idea is that, yes, as you go backwards, we have to uncover and release the areas that have been holding you back, because if they're holding you back, they're always going to hold you back. It's not saying, oh, this didn't work or that didn't work, but actually what I do is actually have exercises to get rid of the past, to create, I always say, there's a saying I say, to be successful, you need to have a happy childhood. And then people think, well, maybe I didn't have a happy childhood. And I go, you know what? It's never too late to have a happy childhood. That's the secret. You need to have a happy childhood. And that means you need to because I feel like people are not being happy enough. They're not doing enough joy. It's more about doing. And I feel like they're running on empty batteries that are, gas tanks that are running on empty. So I do a lot of fun things. I think through fun and joy, you will reach the goal.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because again, not that I do all this, but when you read a lot, these concentric circles overlap and you learn from the masters and take the elements. I say there's 3 types of speakers or book authors. Inspirational, look how great I am. Aspirational, do these things, you can be great. And educational, if you do these things, you'll be successful. Within the book you've written are exercises. You're inspirational, aspirational, and educational.
Yes.
So talk about a few things that are in the book, which is what you're mentioning. These are exercises. People need exercises. They need skill sets.
You need a technique. If somebody is a great football player, I bet you they have a great warm-up session and they just show up and say, let's play. Which way are we going? There are certain, success leaves clues. Success is not an accident. You have to do specific things. So when you go to the gym and you see a guy with muscles like that, you know what they've been doing for a while. They haven't been just eating cake. It's all about what you see whenever you meet someone, whatever they've been doing up to that previously has brought them to this point. So I have exercises. One of the exercises I have is, I think it's start like charging your happiness battery in the morning. Your first 20 minutes is the most important thing, how you get up. And I have an exercise in the book about looking in the mirror and really talking to yourself, because, you know, the strongest relationship you're ever going to have is between you and you.
Yeah.
If you're not a
Wow.
big fan of you, then that's the most important one.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're married and you have 10 children, you will spend more time with yourself than ever. I mean, you're with yourself. We're with ourselves so much. And that's the most important relationship, is improving the relationship between you and you. And I have an exercise in the mirror where you're like talking to yourself. And like you know what? I have a certain exercise that I like to do, which is, I do this, you know, it's in the book, but I do it in my classes as well, where I tell people, okay, let's take a 1-minute thing. And I want you to applaud for your talent. Applaud for how much talent you have. You have a lot of talent, you applaud a lot. You know, you don't have that much talent, applaud a little bit. That's right. Especially I do with a huge company, and they're like, everybody's applauding really hard. But I said, no, what talent that you have? What skills, what talent? Because what's happening is that we always kind of cheer other people, like, oh, the Rolling Stones, or this rock band, or your favorite football team, or like, you're always cheering other people. But I don't feel you're cheering yourself. What about you?
Yeah.
When are you
Wow.
going to cheer yourself? And so I have an exercise where I say, it's time to cheer you, you know, like, so people cheer like crazy. I'm going, well, that's good, but are you living that? Are you living that life of that much talent? Because people have talent. They have skills. They just, you know, they just need to be brought to the right way. But you need to, like, I think we need like 5 minutes of a rounding applause for yourself. Say, come on, you can do this. You need to like be your own pep talk. You know, you have to recognize that you have to be your coach. Of course, you can do that. If something doesn't go right, say, okay, come back tomorrow. You have to learn how to talk to yourself, how to connect with yourself, how to say the words that will inspire you. You know, you have to have, I want to improve the relationship between you and you. That's really the problem. That's the number one problem.
This is fascinating. And when you're back in LA, I'm going to beg you to let me take you to dinner, because this would be such a fun conversation. I have a list of some of the books you should read in order. And the first book is What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. If you can't learn how to eliminate your own negative self-talk, everything else is on quicksand.
Yeah, but yeah, you're absolutely right. But the question I go before that. I say, where those negative thoughts come from? It's like sometimes people are dealing with the issue, and I'm going, well, let's go back. But where did the thought come? Because every negative thought you had came from someone else. There's no baby that thinks like, you know what? I think I'm fat. No, there's no kid that ever thinks they're fat or they look strange.
What a great line. Say that again. But that some people are going to miss it, and they don't realize the jewel. Every negative thought you ever had came from someone else. Wow.
You have never been born with a negative thought. No one said, God, I look weird. There's no child that goes like, I think I look bad today. No, kids will walk out. They'll walk out naked. They think they look beautiful. And there's a girl that has like a big red mark here. She doesn't think anything until she's in school and kids make fun of the red mark. And she's all of a sudden this becomes an issue. So what I do is we go backwards and discover where those negative thoughts come from. They actually talk. So I can discover it, because I don't want you to become something that you're not. I want it to be organic. I want you to recognize where that comes from, where that is, and is it true? Are the negative thoughts still true? Is it true? Because, you know, every thought needs food. And if you have a negative thought, it's because you think it's still a little bit, you know, it's every thought. Well, if like right now, I'm teaching you about being happy or joyful. That's just a thought. Now, if you feed it by doing something about it, that thought grows. If you feed the negative thoughts, they grow. Whatever you feed grows. It's what are you feeding? No, it's some people come to me and I say, we have to stop feeding that. So that dies out, and feed this. So this grows. It's simple and not at the same time.
Let's talk about that for a minute though, Bernard, because this is a broader topic of improvement for people. I want to talk about that, because your book, even though you're #1 in the world for acting and coaching and all this, in my opinion, is a globally broad topic of self-improvement, journey, and discovery people need.
Oh, of course, of course. This is something that every human being
Yeah.
from every country has exactly the same issues, the same problem, feeling not good enough, feeling like they don't matter, feeling like they don't know, feeling unhappy, getting comfortable with being unhappy. I think joy is a huge, huge problem. A lot of people have trouble being happy. And we're talking, but one of the things I talk about and work with is getting you out of your head and into your heart. And how, and I talk about how you got into your head. I mean, we talk about, I don't like to say, hey, do this and this, because I'm going, let's go back to figure out why you're doing this so that you'd stop doing this and then we don't have that problem. It's sort of like I consider people have symptoms. Like if they're not as successful as they want, or they're not speaking as powerfully as they like, or not as happy, I consider them symptoms, but that's not the disease. I like to fix the disease that has brought out those symptoms. That's what acting's about, is finding the disease, finding the thing where this is causing this problem. Because there's certain people who, when I fix the disease, all these problems go away.
Yeah.
They all go away. Because I think
Wow.
we all are symptomatic. We're all symptoms of ourselves. So if someone goes, hello, that's a symptom of never being loved, or thought that you're not pretty. And so that's a symptom. I go, oh, okay. There are no shy people in the world. They're symptomatic. Shyness is something that you're taught to be. There's nobody, give me a 2-year-old that's shy. Go ahead, bring me a 2-year-old that's shy. They're not, but they're told every day, I have a shy daughter. Shy, and so then she acts shy. She knows that shy people hide, don't talk, and she's acting. I think that people are acting all the time, and I want them to stop acting and be authentic and be who they truly are. But a lot of people we're not sometimes encouraged to be who they are. They have to sort of come out, as we say, out of a closet and say, here's who I am. Here I am. And I have those exercises where you have the courage to finally say, this is what I believe, and this is who I really am.
It's amazing. And right now I'm so motivated. I don't know if I want to try and go to the gym and work out, or go out on my balcony and give a speech. So I'm there. In closing, Bernard, amazing. And I love talking to you. What's the book again? Because I want to encourage people to read the book. This isn't about being an actor. This is about being a better person.
No, it's about acting. It is about acting the right way. It's about acting successfully. It is about acting, and acting makes it sound like it's phony. No, teaching you how authentically, because acting, for those of you who don't know, is not lying. Acting of now is telling the truth. See, sometimes we use acting in a negative word, or the guy's acting. But what I have to teach people, what's the current acting, is truth. It's like being truthful. And so acting a certain way and learning to play that part and making it your own, so we don't ever catch you acting. Because if we ever catch you acting, you're doing it wrong. That's the key of acting, is that we can't tell it. But it is acting in a way, because you are acting a certain way with me, but not but you are, because you're going to be different with your daughter. Like, hi, honey, you talk that. And then there's your girlfriend. Hey, and then there's a business. I mean, you're going from one character to another. You just automatically do it.
Right. Wow.
It's
all right. So the name of the book again?
The Revolutionary Guide to Acting. The Revolutionary Guide to Acting. Here it is. I have it right there.
Yeah. I love it. All right, Bernard, fantastic. You taking the time. I greatly appreciate it. We will share this, but regardless, I'm going to sing your praises in the rooms and circles I'm in. Because the fact you've done a book allows you to duplicate, but having you in person is a whole different extraordinary affair. So I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anytime. My pleasure.
All right. Steve and me, the Bullseye Guy. Talk to you soon.